Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel Shraddha's Physics. So in the previous lecture we have already discussed about the pumping mechanism and how it will help in the population inversion, and that after we have already discussed about the 3-level ledger system, that is your Ruby ledger, and in this video we will discuss about the 4-level ledgers, that is your helium neon ledger. So let us start about the helium neon ledger. So what are the drawbacks of the Ruby ledger? So we have discussed that in case of the Ruby ledger, that is a Ruby ledger is a pulsed ledger. Okay, that is we are not getting a continuous ledger beam in case of the Ruby. So here you can see Ruby ledger is a paused ledger, even if it has the high intense output, but still it is a paused one. Okay, for continuous ledger beam the gas ledgers are used. This is the important point. So using gas ledger we can achieve highly coherence, highly directionality, high monochromaticity beam. So the output power of the gas ledger is generally in few milliwatts, and the first helium neon gas ledger, it was fabricated by Ollie Zabon in 1961. So basically you can see here, by using a few milliwatts you can generate a continuous beam of gas ledger, you can say, that is your helium neon ledger. So which has the great advantages over the Ruby ledger, that is here in case of the Ruby ledger, though we are getting the highly intense output, but it is a paused ledger, so we are not getting a continuous beam of ledger in case of the Ruby. Okay, now we will discuss about the construction of the helium neon gas ledger. So this is basically your helium neon gas ledger. So in helium neon gas ledger, the helium and neon gases, they are taken in the ratio 10:1 in the discharge tube. So you can see here, this is your discharge tube, and here the helium and neon ratio is your 10:1. That is, for one neon atom there will be 10 helium atoms will be present in this discharge tube. Okay. Two reflecting mirrors, they are fixed on either ends of the discharge tube, in that one is partially reflecting and the other tube is fully reflecting, as in case of your Ruby ledger. Okay, so here you can see one is your partially reflected mirror and another one is your fully reflected mirror. And the helium neon ledger, it has the 80 centimeter length and 1 centimeter diameter discharge tube. It is generally used here. You can see in case of the helium neon ledger, the length of the tube is 80 centimeter and the diameter is taken, that is your 1 centimeter in length. The output power of this ledger, it depends on the length of the discharge tube and the pressure of the gas mixture. This is your important point. So the output power, it will depend on the length of the tube we have taken and the gas mixture's pressure. Okay. So you can see here, this is your power supply is given to this discharge tube, and one is your partially reflecting mirror and another one is your fully reflected mirror. So now we will discuss about the working procedure. So when the electric discharge is passing through the gas mixture, the electrons accelerated towards the positive electron. Since the electron carries the negative charge, suppose this is your positive electron, so the electrons will now get accumulated at this point. Okay. So during this passage of this electron, they will collide with this helium atom as well as the neon atoms, and it will excite them into the higher level. That is, helium atom will goes to the higher state as well as your neon atom also get to the higher state. But here you should note that the ratio of the helium and neon is your 10:1. So the maximum number of helium atoms are available here. So during this passage, they will collide with the helium neon atoms and excite them into the higher levels of the metastable state, that is 20.61 eV electron volt and 20.66 eV respectively above their ground state. So now you can see here, this one is your helium and this is for your neon atom. This is your energy levels. It is the ground state helium atom energy level. This is your ground state, and this is for your neon atom, the energy level. This is your suppose E1. Okay. Again, this is the metastable state we can say, because here the lifetime of the helium atom is more as compared to that of your excited state. So that here this is your 20.61 eV for your helium atom, and this is your 20.66 eV for your neon atom, and this is your metastable state, and this is your metastable state for helium, and this is your metastable state for the neon. So what will happen? Some of the excited helium atoms, they will transfer their energy to the ground state neon atom. Okay, so helium atom will transfer their energy to the ground state neon atom by the collision with the 0.05 electron volt of additional energy. So you can see here the amount of energy after the excitation because of their collision, you can see. So after the excitation, here the helium atom has the energy 20.61 eV. Here the neon atom has the energy 20.66 eV. So the difference between these two is your 0.05 electron volt. Okay. So this 0.05 electron volt of additional energy, it is being provided by the kinetic energy of the atom, so that this helium atom transfer their energy to the ground state neon atom by the collision. Hence, the helium atom, it helps in achieving a population inversion in the neon atom. Okay, so here in this case, the helium atom will help the neon atom for the population inversion. Population inversion means the maximum number of atoms they will be available at the higher state as compared to the lower state. That is called your population inversion. Okay. When an excited neon atom passes spontaneously from the metastable state to the 20.66 eV to the state at 18.70 eV, it emits a photon of wavelength 6328 angstrom. So when the neon atom that is present in this state, that is a 20.66 eV state, to this lower state, that is your 18.70 eV state, so here it will emit the wavelength of radiation 6328 angstrom, that is it will emit a photon of wavelength 6328 angstrom. So this photon, it travels through the gas mixture, and if it is moving parallel to the axis of the tube, it is reflected back and forth by the mirror ends. Then it stimulates an excited neon atom and causes it to emit a fresh photon of wavelength 6328 angstrom in phase with the stimulating photon. So first of all, because of the energy difference, so here when it will jump from this higher state to this lower state, that is 18.70 eV state, so it will emit the photon of wavelength 6328 angstrom, and this emitted photon, they will move back and forth in this helium neon tube or your discharge tube. It will move back and forth and it will get reflected once more time, so that it will emit a fresh photon of wavelength 6328 angstrom. Okay, and this will cause the laser transition. So here you can see this stimulated transition from 20.66 eV to the 18.70 eV level. It is the laser transition. This process is continued and a beam of coherent radiation builds up in the tube. When this red light beam becomes sufficiently intense, a portion of it escapes through the partially silvered end. Okay. So from 18.70 eV level, the neon atom passes down spontaneously to a lower metastable state, emitting incoherent light, and finally to the ground state through the collision with the tube walls. So the final transition is thus radiationless. So let me tell you once again what will happen. So first of all, this helium one and this is your neon. When the electric discharge is passing through this gas mixture, so the electron will accelerate towards the positive electron. So during this passage, they collide with the helium neon atom. So now this helium atom will get excited and it will reach to this state, that is your 20.61 eV state, and the neon will reach to the 20.66 eV state. Okay. But here the energy difference between these two is 0.05 electron volt. Now here the collision will occur. So here the helium atom will get collided with this neon atom. So that for this there will be a population inversion will be achieved in case of the neon atom because of this helium atom. So that the more number of atoms will be available in this metastable state. Now it will get de-excited, or we can say that it will jump to this state, that is your, suppose this is your E3 state having energy 18.70 electron volt, so that, and also it will emit the radiation of wavelength 6328 angstrom, and also it will get collided with the neon atom when it will travel back and forth inside the tube, and also it will emit another fresh photon of wavelength 6328 angstrom. And this, especially these transitions, are coherent in nature, we can say, and they have highly directionality property, so they will be responsible for the laser transition. And also from this E3 state the spontaneous emission will occur, and again from this E2 state to the E1 state the atom will finally jump, and in this time they will emit the radiation less transition, which will be not responsible for the laser action. So actually there are other energy levels between the 20.66 eV and 18.70 eV levels in neon atom, and transitions between them results in the emission of radiation having wavelength this one besides the visible radiation of wavelength this much. So what are the advantages? So the helium neon laser, it is a tunable means adjustable laser to give radiation in any desired wavelength range. Okay, this is the advantages of the helium neon laser, and this can be done by choosing the end mirrors having high reflectivity over only the required wavelength range. Okay, and also it will, the advantages is it will give a continuous laser beam rather the paused one. Okay, so this is all about the construction and the working principle of the 4 level helium neon laser. So this is all for today. Thank you.